guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Khaki, and today, what are we doing? We're gonna do another anti-haul because you guys actually reassured me so much in the last one. Like, I was actually really scared of making a video where I kind of was negative about products that I hadn't tried. I feel like your credibility kind of goes out the window if you're judging a bunch of products that you haven't actually tried. But I think that coming at it from like an anti-consumerist standpoint, it does make a lot of sense because a lot of things on my channel I am just like, guys, this is great, guys, this is great, guys, this is great. And so much of the time you guys are like, well, God, Khaki, I can't buy everything. And I want you guys to know, as I'm keeping myself kind of informed about what's going on and what's coming out in the beauty industry, there are a lot of things that I do decide not to buy, and I want to share those with you as well. Also, credit where credit is due from you guys. I had a couple of commenters on the last anti-haul that pointed out that the format of that video basically originated with an amazing YouTuber that I had personally never heard of named Kimberly Clark, and she is a drag queen who is very woke and has some amazing sort of ethical messaging behind all of her videos. And I definitely went down a Kimberly Clark K-hole after you guys left those comments about her, and so I watched a ton of her anti-hauls, and it definitely reinforced the intention behind these things. They're not just about bagging on products, because obviously these are product lines, these are brands that I actually really enjoy and things that I already own things from and that I will continue to buy from. But these particular products, especially as they're getting advertised to me, I just have these really strong feelings about them and like reasons where I'm not going to pull my credit card out and buy them and test them on my channel. So wanted to go ahead and give you guys that little follow-up from the last video, I guess, and without any other ado, let's go ahead and hop into the products that I will not be spending my money on. Okay, this is actually something where I have already spent my money on it and I returned it because I can't get behind it, so to speak, and that is the Brazilian Bum Bum Cream, you guys, and I have a very specific reason. It is because everybody thinks that this stuff smells incredible, and of course it is an amazing formula. It is really great and nourishing and heavy on the skin, and it just feels really good if you've got dry skin. It has all these claims about it, about making your skin just, light years better and tightening and having that firming effect so you get the Brazilian butt and everything like that, which I don't really, jury's out on whether you can actually expect that from a lotion. That's not for me to decide. I'm not a scientist. But when I bought this, and I actually bought it at the Sephora VIP Rouge sale, last year, I guess? And I was so excited because everybody just keeps talking about this smell. And when I first smelled it, I was like, oh, that is really nice. That's very beachy. That's very kind of uncommon. It's a little familiar and I can't figure out why. And then when I got it home, and I put it on my legs, and then I put my PJ pants on, which kind of incubates a smell, you kind of end up every time then you get dressed or you put those pants back on or anything like that. It's just kind of this exaggerated version of that smell because you're basically heating it up against your skin and kind of keeping it contained. I realized what it smells like. You guys, that is the exact same note, fragrance note, as Curve for Men, okay? So you end up smelling like a teenage boy. I dated a guy in college who only wore Curve, and I remember being like, oh wow, that's such a great smell, but at the same time, I'm 30 now, it's less appealing than it was then, and the fact that it renders exactly that memory in my brain of being 18 and that being a smell that I thought was cool, it just doesn't sync with where I'm at right now, and I literally couldn't take it back fast enough. I washed my pants, I washed my legs, I was like, oh my God, it just sort of sunk in over the course of an evening where I was like, no, because the stuff's not cheap either. I was like, I'm not going to pay this money to smell like this. It's actually kind of embarrassing. And so I cannot get on board with the Bum Bum Cream. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but the smell is Curve for Men, and I'm not here for it. Okay, so the next one that I will not be spending my money on, and I'm sure you guys have seen the ads for it, and actually in my last anti-haul I talked about kind of the unicorn mermaid fad that kind of happened and then passed us by in 2017, and I'm kind of glad to kick it out the door. I've been seeing this ad for the sparkly mask from Too Faced. You guys, at some point, you just have to realize you're being victimized by a fad, because the promises of that mask are kind of the promises of any mask. There's really nothing particularly special about it except it's so social media photographable. It is, to me, the unicorn frappuccino of face masks, and Too Faced thinks that we're all idiots. They're like, you know what? it doesn't really matter if it works. People are going to throw down the 40 bucks, maybe it's 45, whatever. They're gonna throw the money down just so that they can put themselves on their Instagram using this product and get the likes. All shade, all tea, that's what this is. That is a product that is meant for social media only, just like the Unicorn Frappuccino. It is meant to be a viral sensation. It is not necessarily meant to be an actual impactful skincare product, and that is why I will not be spending my money on it. All right, the next thing that I will not be spending my money on, and it is, God, something that I just keep getting marketed for. I spend stupid money on stupid things all the time. Case in point, a Komedo suction device that gave me a hickey on my face. I am guilty and really proud of taking risks with the things that I buy on the internet all the time. That said, I have also tried things that, you know, put collagen in my skin, or things that have beauty promises from ingesting them, things of that nature. However, the buck stops, literally, at these disruptive vitamins that I'm seeing online. They have personalized vitamin packs, they have personalized actual vitamins, they have these ones that aren't necessarily personalized, but they're really fancy looking, and they say they're kind of a cure-all for everybody. One of the companies that I get like direct mail from them in my mailbox. Like, what is this, 1995? And it is a company called Care/of, and it says, "You are unique, so are we. Build a personalized daily vitamin pack with honest guidance and better ingredients." You guys, I think we debunked the whole supplement thing a long time ago in terms of putting vitamins in a pill. It's just not how I want to get my nutrition. I know that the jury will always be out on that kind of stuff, but you have to have things. Again, I'm not a scientist, but you have to have your nutrients that you're taking in a way that your body can understand them. And so when you put a whole bunch of stuff into a pill, I don't believe personally that that's making any kind of big difference in my body, and I already take 4 pills a day just because of life. So I'm not gonna just start including a bunch of expensive personalized vitamins in my care routine. And I know that it is a fine line between spending $35 on some beauty dust and seeing if that works when I drink it with almond milk or goat milk, and saying that I'm definitely not going to buy a personalized vitamin. There's just something to me about vitamins that just feels like a gimmick. Like, I just don't feel like that's making any impact in my body. I open that up to you guys though, because that is definitely a very like early 2000s kind of mindset about vitamins. If there's been some kind of great leap in the technology where our bodies can now metabolize these particular kinds of vitamins better, then let me know. But I know that things like a 1 a day or any of the multivitamins that are out on the market, things like that, that aren't just in a like very concentrated kind of stable form that a lot of times you have to keep like in the fridge or something like that because they're very pure, those are just not really like live. You're not putting something in your body that's going to be understood by your body because it's not coming from a food. It's just kind of like a dehydrated, powdered situation. So whether or not they work is for someone else to judge, because regardless, in the whole grand scheme of things I could be spending my money on, personalized vitamins is like the bottom of the list. The next thing that I will not be buying, and it is actually not for the reasons that everybody is not buying it, and that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. There's so much tea about this palette on the internet right now because it's super, super dusty, and everybody who has gone to test it on their channel has just had their mind blown by dipping a brush in it, and it just powders everywhere, and they're like, oh my god, I hit pan in one use, and blah, blah, blah. But then some people got kind of a better formulation of it, and they said that theirs wasn't like that, and it was just this big to-do on the internet because Anastasia has always made really great products, and everybody loves them, and this one was just so shocking. The reason that I'm not going to buy this palette is because I can't imagine putting those colors on my face. We're talking about like navy blue, lime green, hot purple, like these things are just not things that go with my routine. So I was really curious about the palette initially. I was like, oh, that's so new. And then I just looked at my daily routine, and there's just something to be said about being honest with yourself. You're like, what is the next occasion in my life that I foresee wanting my eyes to look like a toucan? That's the colors that I'm seeing there. It's like a toucan. Like, I just don't anticipate wanting to put toucan colors on my eyes. That is, again, completely personal. Totally just me. But regardless of the formulation of those eyeshadows, I'm just not a fan of those colors on my face. And I'm not a makeup artist, so I'm not putting colors on anybody else's faces. So yeah, I just can't really justify that kind of price. Even though at first it was kind of tempting because it is just really different. It's not something that you see a lot of these colors in other people's palettes and things like that. So at the time I was like, oh, subculture. I'm in this subculture. Maybe I need the subculture palette. And it's like, no, I actually don't. It's just not realistic and it would be a weird waste of money for me. In the same vein, I'm also not going to be investing in any of the Hush knockoffs. I don't know if you guys have been seeing these around the internet lately, but like Jackie Aina and maybe a couple other beauty YouTubers have done these comparisons between these intentional knockoffs. This is a company that is sold on Hush Beauty that intentionally knocks these palettes off that have the exact same colors as the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. Their Modern Romance palette, they've ripped off Huda, they've ripped off a ton of other lines, and they basically make a much less expensive version, and they're completely shameless about it, which, you know, is neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. But I have never actually completely used up an eyeshadow palette in my entire existence. I still have my chocolate bar palette from like 2012 or something, and it's still kicking. She's still doing fine. I used a Tarte palette until literally the packaging broke. I didn't really ever run out of the eyeshadows, and it's just few and far between that I'm really like head over heels in love with a palette, which is why this one was so remarkable, the Espresso Yourself palette from the Beauty Crop, because it's just not that often that I can justify buying an eyeshadow palette. And so when I see these knockoff palettes, it's like you can pay $10 to get all of these colors, and Jackie Aina did a pretty good job of, like, she stayed very diplomatic about it in the video, but if you had eyes, you could see that that was just a really low quality palette. So it's not worth it to me to get a $10 palette, because it's honestly most of the time not worth it to me to get a full price palette, because if the quality isn't there, I'm definitely not going to buy it, especially if I don't actually need another freaking eyeshadow palette in my life. You know what I mean? So suffice it to say, I love trying things on my channel, even if I think that they might be kind of sketchy, just because they might be totally awesome. I have definitely tried some things that were like $10 and $20 that have just completely knocked my socks off, and I've been really proud to be able to show those on my channel, because a lot of those things you see and their ads make them seem kind of gimmicky, and you come and check them out on somebody's channel and they're like shockingly effective. And so I don't shy away from those kinds of products very often, because a lot of times a gimmick is actually something that if you work with it hard enough, you can make it work. The one thing that I will not be buying that is kind of in that vein is the Woosh Beauty eyeliner roller, okay? I saw a lot of videos where MAC put out an eyeliner roller type applicator for one of their products, I guess around holiday last year. God, that might have been 2 years ago. I lose track of time. But Woosh Beauty in general is a bunch of these, the word that people like to use is like unique or like beauty hack products, and that's because they don't want to get taken off of Woosh's PR list. But we're gonna be honest, Woosh Beauty is a gimmick company. They are all about hacks, like, you know, putting things under your eyes to guard for your eyeshadow getting everywhere, and then when you peel it off, it takes all of your concealer off with it. The main thing about the Woosh Beauty products, to me, that's going to keep me from buying them is they're actually really expensive. If you go to Ulta and you're looking for a Woosh Beauty eyeliner wheel, you are going to have to come out of pocket $29 for this weird little gizmo that says it's going to be able to roll your eyeliner onto your face, when we all know that that mechanism doesn't work. I've never seen it work. I've seen some very capable makeup artists who get sent these things in the mail and they try them on their channel, and it's just kind of a disaster. Plus, the main issue I have with trying to put on any kind of liquid eyeliner and try and get it really precise is not the applicator, it's my eye. My eye freaks out and I'm just kind of like, oh, you know, or my hands freak out, or I just get really nervous and like hold my breath and just something terrible happens. I don't think that a matter of changing the delivery system of laying it down on my face is going to miraculously make me not a disaster when it comes to putting a tiny pin up against my eye with my hand. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that suddenly I'm just going to have like amazing cat eyeliner skills because you put this weird little pizza cutter in my life, you know? I also love, and I will put it on the screen right here, their image of using it, which is obviously someone has had their eyeliner either already done or digitally superimposed onto the picture. I'm gonna go for digitally superimposed onto the picture because it clearly goes directly into their tear duct, which is not actually a physical thing. And then the Woosh Beauty roller is just kind of sitting on the skin as if that's what's just laid the eyeliner down, and it's so obvious that that's not really the case. I have watched a few videos where people test these things on their channels, like I said, and it is just an all-out disaster every single time. So no, I'm not going to be coming out of pocket $30 for a weird little gimmicky eyeliner wheel that obviously doesn't work. So guys, that concludes this installment of my anti-hauls. I think that there will be more anti-hauls in the future, and it's because you guys seem to really enjoy them and I enjoy making them. I think, like I said, this is kind of a valuable exercise for you guys to understand that A, I'm not just loving every single thing that I try, B, I'm not just getting suckered into buying everything that I see. So if any of these products made you think, Khaki, no, like, don't shut that down so quickly. Like, I did get some comments last time about how, like, some of the Fenty Beauty stuff is actually incredible, and I did kind of, like, open my mind a little bit to it because I think I was repelled from Fenty originally because most people were using her products in like a really bold kind of like avant-garde kind of way, plus her foundation is so insanely matte that like people were complaining that it was so drying, and I already have dry skin, so I just didn't really feel the need to like make that a top priority. But some people are talking about how incredible her highlighters are and things like that, so maybe the next time in Sephora I'll just kind of, you know, stick my fingers in it and see what I think. Who knows? I love to stand corrected. So if you guys saw any of this and you were just like, Khaki, you actually do need to try that, or it made you think of something that you're definitely not going to buy, let me know down in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate that. Pass it on to anybody who you think would appreciate it. And if you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, go ahead and hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you. Hope you're having a great week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.